Everywhere at 5, the president of Summa Health Medical arrested for revenge porn. The doctor facing a judge earlier this week. Brittany Weir tonight with details of this bizarre case from Copley.
Dr. Vivek Bahala accused of sending revenge porn. According to a police report, Bahala sent an inappropriate picture of an adult woman to multiple people, along with a caption that indicated who the woman is, with the intent to cause harm. Police say Bahala knew the victim and confirmed she is not one of his patients. The victim originally contacted police because of fears for her safety. She also left Ohio to get away from Bahala.
It's about any act that violates trust.
We spoke to Sarah Kolick, a lawyer who specializes in Ohio's revenge porn law. She says the Take It Down Act, which was recently passed, makes it a federal crime.
But there's also state charges that can, be brought against a person who shares intimate images without their partner's consent.
She says charges can range from a misdemeanor to a felony offense.
It depends on, the age of the depicted person, how much content was sent, the intent as well. All these play a factor in sentencing.
According to Barberton Municipal Court, the 45-year-old was arrested at his home on October 18th. He was charged with 1 count of dissemination, a 5th-degree felony. The victim then filed a protection order against the doctor on October 20th. Summa Health Medical Group released a statement that says, "We are aware of the allegations against Dr. Bahala and take them very seriously. We are in the process of gathering additional information, and he is currently on leave from the organization." We also reached out to Bahala's lawyers. They sent a statement that reads, "We are actively investigating the allegations in the criminal complaint. A forensic examination of the evidence has not occurred. Once that evidence is available, we will comment further." A judge set his bond at $5,000, and he did pay that required 10%, so he is now out. This case has been bound over to the Summit County grand jury. In Copley, Brittany Weir, 19.